I very much appreciate. I suppose my remarks are probably more pertinently directed to TikTok and Meta, because I do take the point that X is more older content. So I suppose I come from a place where my view of social media is that by design, it pushes a operant conditioning in behaviour modification. It uses, that circular of trigger, action, variable reward, investment. It involves deliberate manipulation and capture, behaviour modification, and captures attention, and attention is actually what is monetised, as being that which advertisers can have access to, and that's the basis of the business model here, of an advertising-based one. I have read the advisory of the US Surgeon General entitled "Social Media and Youth Mental Health," and I'm concerned about young people and their access to smartphones, full stop, which I personally think should be banned. But brain development has changed. Mental health has been affected by the amount of time that is spent on social media, as well as the content that is thereon. And in that, I also have the report from Commission Amon that looks at their video platform services and how online harms and their evidence review. The Commission Amana, whom I met with last week, would urge a whole of society response to this, and I completely agree with that. This isn't all at your door by any means. It's us as policymakers and legislators to take action. Yes, you as the technology companies, parents and caregivers need to also, and children themselves and adolescents need to set their own boundaries, as parents need to also. So I'm not abdicating any responsibility for anybody else. But I suppose one of my questions would be, do you acknowledge that harm, that impact on that behavioural modification and developmental modification that has occurred as a consequence of social media and the design of social media? I suppose, mental health illness, if we look at some of the statistics of mental health illness among college students, with the advent of the smartphone since 2010 in the United States, this is, anxiety has increased by 134%, depression has increased by 106%, ADHD is up by 72%, bipolar up by 57%, anorexia is up 100%, substance abuse addiction up 33%. And I have a colleague, Roderick Cowan, who speaks a lot of cognitive resilience is gone behind in the design of social media, and that we need cognitive security for young people in its design. And consequently, we need transparent risk assessments that come from this basis of mental health focused, that there needs to be impact assessments published. And I don't believe that there's been transparency around that. The design and development of decisions within social media companies need to prioritise safety and health, including children's privacy, their age verification. I note that WhatsApp reduced their age recently and wouldn't approve of that. The reporting of problem content, for all of you, particularly X, is abominable in the response to that. But in my view, social media needs to come with a mental health warning, that there needs to be, that if a child is on, or any individual of any age, but particularly young people, if they're on the social media platform, a warning needs to come up to say, you've now been on this 15 minutes. You need to go and take a break from this. There needs to be a health warning that comes up that limits the timings of people, but that is in contrast to the actual business model, which is about attention holding. So I suppose I'd like to know, what's your position? Do you acknowledge the harms? And about cognitive resilience and cognitive security, what steps are you taking in that regard? Because we can talk about all the harmful content, and that is all agreed, but that's a distance from the fact that your design is something that has brought about behaviour modification.
Okay, so Chloe, you want to come in? Okay. Then anyone else who just want to indicate if they want to reply?
Thank you for your question, Senator. I think we totally appreciate concerns around screen time, addiction, well-being of our younger users, those aged 13 and upwards on TikTok. And as with anything in life, I think we need to find that balance. We believe that digital experiences should bring joy, should be a positive experience. It's a great opportunity for young people to learn, to socialize, to discover new things, to develop new digital skills. And having a positive relationship with apps and platforms and the online world isn't just simply about sort of measuring time. It's about the quality of the time spent and what they're doing. So if they're learning things, if they're socializing, there's a whole different types of experience that young people
I'm sorry,
can have.
but this isn't what I'm asking. I'm asking about the fact that a young person spending a huge amount of time on social media is interrupting their development of social skills with other human beings, not learning things on social media. I agree that there is positive possibilities here, but that's not what I'm getting at.
Absolutely.